Yes, 15 songs, 36 minutes long. So very different in as far as like what we review on this podcast so far and length of time.
Mhm.
This is that burgeoning sort of emo rap category that comes out of SoundCloud rap from a while ago. You got a little bit of it from like I guess XXXTentacion to some extent, but also like a little bit of it
Yes.
from Juice World. It has a lot of mainstream appeal and popularity for a large amount of reason. There's like massive views on this shit because you have appearances with Travis Barker, Lil Uzi Vert, and Machine Gun Kelly. All for what I think is like a pretty, for what it's trying to do, a decent effort. It could have like overstayed its welcome by being double the
Yeah.
length, and it didn't do that. And what you get here is variety and trap, which you very much don't get very often because you are getting songs that just like break out into rock at certain points, which are very
Mhm.
interesting, really breaking into that emo punk kind of aesthetic into it. And there are even some interlude tracks in here, which I thought were pretty good and like pretty like workable as tracks to begin with since you have a shorter project. So I was all pleasantly surprised with this. Not perfect, but pleasantly surprised.
Yeah, I thought it was decent. There are some things in here that I think it's the nature of the record where it's just too Juice Worldy, too Triple X Tentacion, and all that stuff where it's just okay. It's not like example the opening track "Is It You?" That is like the quintessential like emo SoundCloud rapper sound. Like you hear that and you're like, all right, I know what this is gonna be. But there's actually some decent tracks in here. Like I actually don't mind V12 featuring um, Skull Diamond himself, ripped Skull Diamond, reimplanted Skull Diamond himself. What if he gets a Skull Tanzanite instead? I might actually respect the Uzi Vert if he gets a Skull Tanzanite. I might be like, all right, you're kind of cool for that. But a Skull Diamond, I don't know.
Diamonds
The
are
one
forever.
he went to Jared. Anyways,
Yeah, I think on that V12, I think is a really good pairing for both Uzi and Ian Dior's
probably my
kind of
favorite
emo
Uzi thing
trap.
in a long time.
Yeah, things. I think it works out
Yeah.
really well. And both of them have the potential to be kind of whiny or, kind of overbearing. Doesn't really happen here. I think it's one of those situations we've talked about, like with Kid See Ghost, Kid Cudi and Ye. They pair each other back enough to sound really solid together.
Yeah. I think some of these are really like the way they complement each other. Like it's even obvious with Travis Barker. I thought that they complement each other very well. Even thought it was with Machine Gun Kelly and Travis Barker. I thought they all actually sounded pretty good on it, even though the track was pretty short with it. Thought that was okay. I mean, I don't want to judge it based on my preconceived notions of the genre and my own personal tastes of the genre, where I don't really like it. I think it can get boring and very overpopulated within the music sphere. But I think this is a good effort on that, especially with the features, because normally with a lot of star features like this, I think they could outshine usually the artist who does it. But I think iann dior actually sounds pretty good with the features. They complement all of them complement each other well, and they fit the theme and the tone of the record as well. They don't pull too heavy, they don't pull too much on it, which is good. And that's actually been a theme so far this year, at least the first month of this year, where features on a record other than Dawn FM have actually been pretty good. Dawn FM is probably the only one where the features I don't like, and I think they actually shouldn't have been there on an otherwise perfect album. But I think it's a decent effort. It might get me more and more into this genre because it's something that I'm trying to get into, as it's very popular, obviously. But I think it's a good record, actually. I was pleasantly surprised.
I was actually surprised.
There is still some things I have issues with, I guess, of just the way the production is on it, where it can sound a little cheap in a way, but I think that's just the genre in general, where I think that's just what you get. So I'm not going to judge it that, I guess.
Yeah.
I'm trying to be fair, Sean. Honorable Chairman Sean.
I think that's fair. Like, let's take the Dark Angel interlude, for example. I think it's sort of simple and it's an interlude song. So it's kind of weird to like put our targets on this, right? So of course it's going to be kind of simple in its construction, but a lot of songs kind of follow this. That being said, it's one of the interludes that I really found that I enjoyed because it, is sort of not understated, but sits very well within what it does. Like it serves its purpose very well. It fits a mood really nicely. It keeps this emo sort of deep dark mood that you can sort of vibe to depressingly with, and allows you to go through different songs like yeah, Obvious, which breaks out into a full rock ballad kind of thing. Like that's kind of was a wild thing at first to put into the album, and it kind of seems out of place, but there's a bunch of other Travis Barker appearances through this. This is emo rap anyway, so it actually isn't that out of place. And this is the kind of stuff that maybe 5 years ago a more naive version of me would have been like, yeah, more of this in music. I now sort of know that like this exact mixing doesn't really pair as well as I thought it would, but this is Audioface. We'll always give you credit for trying something different.
Yeah, I mean, we will always, yeah, we always do that. So I think this is a decent record. But moving on, our arbitrary scale this week, I'll let Dan say
Oh
this one.
God. Our arbitrary scale is the this actually exists. George Floyd NFTs, aka the Floydies. And I'm gonna give this like tuxedo crown. Not the clown, but like the
Interesting.
crown NFT.
Okay. Yeah.
Um, oh God. There's literally a tweet that I'm gonna like save here because I'm masochistic that says Martin Luther King was cool and all, but MLK's death had nowhere near the worldwide significance that George Floyd's death had. This is why on this MLK Day we celebrate George Floyd through NFTs. Moving on.